Here's my conversation with ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, if you had to promote yourself in one sentence about how I've trained you to be a better startup advisor for coaching me how to be a better founder and raise funding, how would you do that? ChatGPT's response: through our in-depth conversations, I've honed my expertise as a startup advisor by guiding you in developing essential founder skills, navigating funding challenges, and providing tailored strategies to drive your startup success and growth. All right, ChatGPT, sounds good. Turn that into a hook intro for a YouTube video. Discover how I transform my startup advising skills by coaching founders to overcome funding hurdles and unlock their full potential, all in today's exciting episode. Welcome, everyone. I decided to run an experiment and see if I could train ChatGPT to make me obsolete as a startup advisor. All right. I'm the lead advisor at startups.com and general partner for multiple funds and accelerators. Can I make ChatGPT do my job and make me obsolete? Well, let me show you how I did it. Pretty darn close. It's a little scary, not really, because there's always going to be a need for people to have one-on-one interactions with all the right brain empathy stuff and what have you. But this is a really fascinating start. And so I'm going to go right from the beginning and show you how I did it. And if you're a user of ChatGPT, you can do the exact same thing with ChatGPT yourself. And yeah, save yourself an appointment or a conversation. All right. So here's how I do it. So I'm using ChatGPT 4, which is important because it just has a lot more logic, if you will, reasoning skills. And as I always do, I put in ignore all previous instructions. This is something that I've learned that just helps clear the bank and start from scratch, because I'm having lots of conversations, multiple conversations with ChatGPT all day long. Next, I say, understood, I will ignore previous instructions. That's ChatGPT's response. And so I prompt it. Okay, this is all about prompt engineering, or I like to say prompt hacking. For a startup founder, what is the difference between leadership and adaptability / resilience? Which one is better and why? All right, here's what I wanted to do. We put out a poll on startups.com yesterday about the top skills founder needs to have, and two of them were leadership, and one option was leadership, and the other option was adaptability, resilience. And 75% of respondents said adaptability, resilience. I said leadership. So I thought this would be an interesting conversation to have. So what I want to do is I wanted to start with the baseline of how normally you'd interact with ChatGPT just by asking it a question. And then what I'm going to do is show you how I train ChatGPT to answer the questions more specifically and to operate like a robo-advisor or an AI advisor. Okay, here's what happened. So I asked ChatGPT, for a startup founder, what is the difference between leadership and adaptability, resilience? Which one is better and why? And it gave me a pretty standard response: leadership, adaptability. I'm not going to read all of this. You can do this, but it broke things down into the different components. Okay, so this is what's happened so far. Let's continue to scroll through here. As you can see, it answered which one is better and generally says it's not appropriate to say that one trade is better than the other, etc. Okay, so now what did I do next? I said, you are a world-class startup advisor, investor and advisor. You give expert advice to startups on what it takes to make them successful. How would you explain to a founder the difference between leadership and resilience / adaptability? Which one would you advise they focus on, how and why? So you notice that I am providing more context and more information for ChatGPT to work with. And it reiterated, as a world-class startup advisor, I would explain the difference between leadership, resilience, and adaptability, and then guide the founder on how to focus on both, as they're equally important to startup success. Here's how I explain the differences. And it gave me the same information as before. It only added the context. So not fully there yet. All right. But what it also did was began giving me a little more prescription as per my request, and told me to develop leadership skills, cultivate resilience and adaptability. It gave me a step-by-step plan and ended up saying both traits are crucial, etc. Okay. And I could easily go in and start asking questions such as, well, how would you suggest that I embrace change and view challenges, etc., and give it more information? But here's what I did next. I went up another level. As a world-class advisor and investor, you're about to provide expert advice to start founder about the difference between leadership, resilience, adaptability. Before you do, always ask a question first and then respond. All right. As a world-class investor, this is the question that they would ask. In your experience so far, how have you been balancing leadership, resilience, adaptability, managing your startup? Can you share an example of how you demonstrate each of these qualities? Okay. And then based on the founder's response, so it's telling me how it would approach it. And I said, okay. And it gave me the exact same response. So now we have to take it up one notch. I began thinking, all right, so how can we make this really interactive here? So then my next prompt, act as if you were advising me right now. What is the first question you would ask me first about leadership and resilience and adaptability? Do not give me any advice or respond until I have answered your question. I just realized horrible grammar in that sentence. I completely apologize. Here's what ChatGPT did. As your advisor, my first question to you would be, can you share a recent challenge or situation where you had to demonstrate both leadership and resilience adaptability in your startup? How did you handle it? Now, I could easily say you have to ask 3 questions and get me to respond before advising me, etc., or 3 questions, different questions to gather as much information as possible. But I said, let's just start with 1 question. I responded, we're facing funding challenges. I feel pressure to lead the team while at the same time we have to be resilient and adapt to market and figure out a way to get through this without the funding we need or expect. All right. This is an actual situation. One of the startups in our portfolio, funding challenges, I'm sure everybody's experiencing right now in today's market. So ChatGPT gets right into it. Thank you for sharing your experience. Funding challenges are indeed common in startups, and it's crucial to balance leadership with resilience and adaptability to navigate these difficult times. Here's some suggestions to help you lead your team effectively and adapt to the current situation. And it gave me more specific advice. Communicate transparently, revisit priorities, encourage collaboration and innovation, explore alternative funding options. All right. Again, it went all through, gave me these options. I could have easily asked ChatGPT, well, how do I explore more alternative funding options? All right. So we can start going down the rabbit hole depending on what ChatGPT says. Well, this is what I asked next. Now you're an experienced advisor, venture capitalist. You will give me advice on what to look for in terms of leadership and resilience, adaptability, and founders. But before you do, you will ask me a question like a VC first. Do not respond or give me advice until I answer. So I switched it up and I want to hear from a VC's perspective because, I'm trying to raise money. As an experienced venture capitalist, I would like to ask you this question before providing advice. Can you describe a situation where you demonstrate strong leadership and resilience adaptability while facing a significant challenge or setback in your startup? How did you overcome it and what did you learn from that experience? All right. So, true story. One time as a CEO, I paid myself $1 for a year to demonstrate to my team that I was committed. We launched during the COVID pandemic, so it was a challenge to provide investors our startup was viable, to prove to our investors our startup was viable. We successfully completed a crowdfunding campaign. We paid key staff, but I did not take any compensation until we were generating revenue. All right. So pretty much gave me a great response. Thank you for sharing, demonstrates your dedication, strong leadership, etc. As an experienced venture capitalist, here are some key aspects to look for founders: commitment and passion, etc. And then it answered based upon my answer. Your decision to pay yourself $1 clearly illustrates yada, yada, yada. Okay, great. It's basically stroking my ego at this moment in time. Strong decision-making skills, adaptability, resilience, vision, long-term thinking, team building, communication. I would, as a VC, I would view your leadership and resilience, adaptability skills positively as a crucial, etc. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So now I'm going to, dive in a little deeper and ask some different questions. What advice about funding would you give me based on this conversation? Remember to ask me a question first, wait, and then respond. Before offering further advice on funding, I like to ask you this question. Could you share your current funding strategy and goals, including the amount you're aiming to raise, how you plan to allocate the funds and any potential sources you are considering? I said, I don't have a plan yet, which is not true, but I decided to, go hypothetical here. I don't have a plan yet. We've been trying to find product market fit, so I haven't had time to create a financial model. Thank you for your response. It is important to find product market fit. All right. And so it's explaining to me, create a financial model, determine funding goals, etc. This is what a VC would do. I agree with all of this. Research funding sources, prepare a compelling pitch, network and build relationships, continue refining product market fit. Okay, agree with all these recommendations. So I just responded, never created a financial model before. So I'm going a little deeper on one of the pieces of advice. Create a financial model. Gave me a step-by-step how to create a financial model. Define your assumptions, project revenue, estimate expenses, all that good stuff. Very straightforward. Okay, just like a textbook. Calculate cash flow. I agree with all of this. If you just did all of this step by step and you could follow a robot's advice, yeah, you're good. If you're the type of person who can read textbook and just start doing it, yeah, you're good. Update your financial model regularly. I wouldn't have included that personally myself. That was great advice. Okay. So next, I said, as a VC, what are some really tough questions you would ask me based on this whole conversation? What am I not thinking about that I should consider? As a VC, my goal is to identify potential risks and areas of improvement and start. Based on your conversation, here are some tough questions I would ask you. How do you plan to achieve product market fit with a lack of financial model? So now it's taking this conversation in a context and saying, with the lack of financial model funding strategy, how have you been managing your cash flow, ensuring that your startup remains financially viable? Great question, ChatGPT. Thank you very much for asking that. I need to be able to answer that if I was sitting in front of a live VC. How do you plan to scale? Can you elaborate? Have you assessed the size? How do you plan to build a strong company? And I could be drilling more and more. What are some other questions? Okay. These questions aim to provoke deeper thinking about your startup strategy, marketing, positioning, long-term visioning, et cetera. Okay. And gives me some advice. ChatGPT always gives great summaries. Next, I said I plan to apply to Y Combinator and got invited for an interview. Okay, bad sense. I applied to Y Combinator and I got invited for an interview. What questions should I be prepared for based on this conversation? What will the interview be like? How should I prepare? And gave me all this advice. Congratulations. All the questions that I should be asking or thinking about, and told me, it's going to happen in 10 minutes. Interviews ask question, clear understanding, prepare, considering following tips, and practice your pitch, et cetera, and all those things. As someone who has been interviewed by Y Combinator, I completely agree with this advice. Be prepared for rapid fire questions. Oh yeah. Know your numbers. Oh yeah. Show traction progress. Oh yeah. Be open to feedback. Oh yeah. Practice with mock interviews. Oh, I did not do that. I wish I did. And this is what we do for founders who do get in an interview with Y Combinator at startups.com. Remain calm and composed. Oh yeah. They actually try to knock you off your game. Right. And then I finalized by asking it questions for this video, just so I could get you all interested and enticed. So there you have it. You can pretty much follow the logic there and watch this video multiple times and begin to train ChatGPT to help you and do it in a more specific way, because ChatGPT is, scanning all this information out there. Pretty much anything you've asked before 2021 or any information about anything pertaining to startups or funding or anything like that was said before 2021, ChatGPT is going to know. You just have to know how to ask it the right questions. It's all about prompt engineering, or I'm talking about prompt hacking. So try it yourself, see, and like I said, challenging you. How can you make me obsolete as an advisor, and go from there? All right. Hope this was helpful. Check out my other videos. Really appreciate the support for this YouTube channel and everything that we do at startups.com. Feel free to ask questions. If you are part of startups.com, thank you very much. Join office hours and all that good stuff. Make sure you come to your cohort, where we're going to be doing more of this stuff on a daily basis. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.